what do we need to do to get to this crossing the line? And I look at it 4 things. The first is choose to commit. I always laugh when I say this because when I say choose to commit, I feel like you're all sitting there saying, duh, of course you need to choose to commit. Okay, but even though it sounds duh, it's not, because a lot of people will say they're committed, but they haven't really committed. And the really successful people in life are the people who are going to commit and be all in. And the way I want you to think about this is what I call box it up. Next slide. There we go, box it up. Here's how I want you to think about this year starting today for the next 12 months, or starting, is it today or July 1? July 1, okay, so July 1 to 12 months from July 1. I want you to think of what you're doing as box it up. And that picture, I want you to ingrain in your head, and I want you to say it to each other over the next 12 months. Here's what this is. Imagine that your whole body of work for the next 12 months is going to go in a box. And in 12 months, you're going to seal that box up, okay? And you're going to hand that to somebody else. Imagine somebody who's taking your spot because you're going to a different position, or somebody that is going to just be one of your colleagues and work on the same account, whatever it is, you understand what I'm trying to get at. Okay? When you box that up and you hand it to them, and then in 12 months and a day, they open it up, okay? What do you want them to say? What do you want them to say in this room here? What do you want them to say?
Wow, impressive.
Right, okay. I'm sorry, your name again?
Nicole.
Nicole just rocked it out. She said, wow, that's impressive. That's exactly what you want them to say, okay? Wow, that's impressive. How am I going to top that? And think about it. If we all did that each and every year, and our goal was to top what we did the year before, think about it, not only individually, but collectively, where you go from there. I mean, it's really amazing. So box it up, okay? Your next meeting, I want you to just look at each other and say, all right, don't forget, we're boxing it up. That's the goal. Next slide. Okay, the next thing is my next duh, which is work hard, right? And everyone intuitively knows, yeah, in order to accomplish things, I need to work hard, right? But when you're thinking of working hard, I just want you to think about those little extra things that you do. Katie, you were talking a little about it before, you know, in your preparation, and just being polite. I wrote it down as politely persistent. Sorry, that only took me 5 times to get out of my mouth. Sorry, Katie, that wasn't you, it's me. Okay, so it's just that little extra thing to do to really make the difference between a good year and a great year, or a so-so year and a good year. Next slide. Okay, when you look at this, the first thing when I'm in New York talking to people is they think, why does he have the area code on the slide? Okay, yes, I'm going to ask you to forget that we're in New York City, forget that you know that that's the area code. What else would 212 represent? What I would. Okay, it could be a highway because I fool you by putting that thing around. That's a Jedi mind trick, right? So now, really what it is, okay, I don't want you to think about it as 212. So everyone, you're going to wipe that out. From now on, when you see this, I want you to think 212, okay? 212. And next slide, let me tell you what that represents to me. I call it the extra degree, right? Because at 211 degrees, water is hot. Right? At 212, all of a sudden it goes from being super hot to boiling. And with boiling water comes steam, and with steam you could power a train. Think about how powerful that 1 extra degree is. It makes all the difference. And in our business, what does that 1 degree mean? It's that 1 phone call, extra phone call before we go home. It's that 1 thank you note that we handwrite a note. It's that 1 more networking event, which is so annoying to go to. I hate going to them too, but I know if I just go to 1 more, that could be the one that makes all the difference. So the next thing besides boxing it up that I want you guys to remember is 212. Every time you dial a number that's 212, no longer it's 212, it's 212. Now, I'm telling you, here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk around and all of a sudden you're going to see the number 212. It has nothing to do with area code. I'm living rent free in your head, okay, right now with that. And so what's going to happen is every time you're going to see 212, you're going to see it. You're going to take a picture. You're going to send it to Tim. Tim's going to send it to me. It's going to be annoying because I'm going to get a lot of them, Tim, but it's all right because then I know I got through. Okay, so for this year, we are going to put in that extra degree in everything we do. And I don't mean just here. I mean at home. I mean with what we're eating, with our exercise. We're just going to put in one more degree in everything. Okay, next slide. Okay, I'm annoying with the numbers. The next number is 168. Anyone want to guess what 168 represents? I didn't know either the first time, so that's why I used this slide. I love it. It's 168 hours in your week. We all have 168 hours. There's not one person in this room that has 169 or 167. We all have 168 hours. So let's think this one through. So if we all sleep 7.5 hours, well, I can't remember ever doing that, but 7.5 hours, okay, that leaves you about 115 hours left. And if you need to check me with the calculators over there, but am I right? Okay, yeah, she's over there saying, yeah. She wanted to see if I really was one of the best financial advisors in the country. Yeah, from a math standpoint, I am. Right? Thanks, I appreciate that. Who is it? I'm sorry, your name? Melissa. That was Melissa for all of you who aren't in the room. She was fact checking me, right? Me and Trump. So then the next thing after 115 waking hours, which is what we all have, is we have these work weeks. And I always love saying a 40-hour work week. And then I see everyone roll their eyes and smile because it's never 40 hours, but there's about 40 hours there. So if you're still doing the math, okay, that comes out to be about 1/3 or 35% of our waking life. So think about this. If we are going to spend 1/3 of our lives together, shouldn't we make every hour count so that we get those better relationships, those better results, and of course, the more opportunities? Heck yeah. So remember, as you're going through your year, box it up, 212, 168. Next slide. Okay, focus. You know, this is really important because this is really what gets people. Because you think you're working, but you get caught up with other stuff. I am not going to point fingers at any of you, but I'm going to point fingers at me. Too much surfing the web, okay, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it is that I'm justifying. My darn phone with the texts, right? I'm doing that. I can tell you, I can sometimes find any excuse, okay, not to do work. And what happens is I lose focus. So what I started to do is to shut off my email alerts when they come in. I started doing the same thing with my phone. I sometimes put my phone down. It's super hard, but I want to be successful. And I know that left to my own devices, I can't be. So I again have to Jedi mind trick myself into doing these things that are going to help me get to where I want to go. So let me give you, there are two things. First is just minimizing distractions. And again, you're not going to be surprised when I tell you, eliminating negative people from your life. Do it now. Either tell them to turn it around and get on board or get off, because life is too short to deal with that. And most of these people are dragging you down. Tougher when it's your kid. I get it. Okay. I get it. I have I know Tim's got 3. I've met his twins and love them. And they were super great to me, but I'm sure they're super terror at home. Okay, just like my teenagers are, just like everyone's are, right? So I need you to think about focusing. In my own career, it came when I started being a financial advisor. And I was actually, because I was on commission, and if you're on commission, okay, if you don't, you eat what you kill. And I wasn't making a whole lot of money. So I'm still a really good soccer player. So on Sundays, I would go to Brooklyn and I played soccer for a team called the Brooklyn Italians. And the Brooklyn Italians would pay me $200 if we lost, $300 if we won, which was a lot of money because it was also in cash. It was like babysitting money, right? And I was living at home with my parents, and that was my money to get me through while I was just starting to build my business. Until one day, I was part of the Cowan Financial Group. Howard Cowan calls me in his office. That's like getting called down to the principal's office, same thing. This is the guy who said, "Who is Tom Henske and what is he still doing in my company?" Right? So that's a, you're trying to reach your sales goals. I was trying to meet the minimum just so I didn't get kicked out. And he said, "You got a problem." He goes, "You're trying to get to second base with a foot on first. Decide, soccer or financial services." And that's what happened because I had lost my focus, right, on what really mattered, which is my long-term career, because soccer ends. And when I quit playing for the Brooklyn Italians, all of a sudden my financial services, my financial planning went through the roof. Imagine that. But I think it's a really good lesson. It was a good lesson for me, at least, on how to focus. Last one. Home stretch. And this one might be the most important. It's the bounce back, right? It's what also known as being resilient, right? Think about it like this. When we won that first national championship, people don't remember this, but the coach decided to go with the other goalie. I was a goalie, everybody, okay? He decided to go with the other goalie for the playoffs. I was devastated. I thought my world was ending. Everything I'd ever put anything into was that sport. And now all of a sudden we are getting to the prime time where my name was going to be in lights, or I thought it was going to be. And all of a sudden I was rejected and he said, "No, we're going to go with the other guy." By the way, I found out about that through my father, who read it in the Washington Post. So I didn't even know that I wasn't going to be the goalie going forward. Story for another day. But what happened was I was determined every practice to make that coach look like an idiot. Okay, I was going to go out and play every day, and amazing. And I played the best soccer of my life, the best. What happened was we get to the Final Four, we win the semifinals, we get to the finals. I'm still on the bench. I haven't played in like 4 weeks. We get into a shootout, and all of a sudden my name got called. Okay, and for a shootout, there's penalty kicks. You guys have heard of it. If not, you can Google it sitting in your seat, figuring out what it is. Okay, and what happened was it's really skewed against the goalie, and I made these miraculous saves. And now, today, not one person ever remembers that I wasn't the starter in that game and the 4 weeks earlier. Not one. Everyone always remembers, "Wow, you were the guy who made the saves. I saw you on CBS. That was awesome."